Well, what can I say? I had such a laugh to Sean's show. Absolutely fantastic. I don't know what I'm going to do to beat that. Here we go, one of the first Tamla Motown records out in the UK. This is the Funk Brothers, Earl Van Dyke and the Soul Brothers. Massive good evening to South Wales and Melvin Clapton. Great chatting earlier on today, fella. Good evening, Troy Tempest, Trevor Britnell, Mark Stackhouse. Good evening to my old buddy over in Sawbridgeworth, Paul Smith Smudgy, Vicky Richardson, and Lee, Mark Borley, Adrian, SF, CF Watkin. Yeah, we do so appreciate you tuning in each week. Show 56, 112 hours of music played. Good evening, Kaz and Richie. You look fantastic tonight. Good evening, Liverpool and Stan and May Evans. Well, we got a great show, I think, lined up tonight. After laughing so much to Sean's show and all the stuff going on in the chat room, I forgot what I'm doing. Here we go. The Impressions.
Send you flying, not to another, but me instead. And you wanna be in heaven.
Well, good evening. Welcome to the centre of the universe. Barry Thurgood, Billy McCallum, Cyril and Sue Porton down in North London, and the Mincer and the Mincer, Mr. Sean Chapman and Michelle Jacobs.
You wanna be in heaven, playing with the angels.
Well, good evening, Baz Rogers up in Norfolk, Derek Higham.
Just ain't fair when the fella who don't even care. Wish that I could buy a halo.
Well, good evening, Gloucestershire, Chris and Becky Davis. Good evening, North London, North West London, I should say. Jodie Richardson, Callum Salem, Rocco 68, and good evening, Dave Hughes. Great set the other night, Dave. Good evening, the secret editor. I want to know who he is. I do know who he is, but I can't remember. Good evening, Tim17, Mogi 1966, and Kazza Hart. Well, there we go. Curtis Mayfield there, along with the Impressions. Here we go with Elliot Shavers and the Blazers. Good evening, Yorkshire and Hull and Carl and Kath, or Custard Sick. Good evening, South Wales, Mark and Shan. Good evening, USA and Seattle, Dennis OK. Good evening, Richard Blair. Good evening, Steve Chumberley, Lorraine Perkins. And up in the Midlands, Stuart and Jill Catlin. Well, at least you weren't late for my show, Steve. Steve Giles, good evening and welcome. You won't get 6 of the best from me. Well, there we go. Elliot Shavers and the Blazers. That's a bit of a mouthful almost. 1961 on the King label. Well, staying in 1961, we got a guy under an alias name of Jasper Woods. He's actually Richard Berry, coming up next. This goes especially out for Smudgy. Good evening, Carl Hasso, Fred and Denise Hobart from our village, Vinny and Ginny down in the West Country, Alan Hamilton over in Welling Garden City, Mark and Christine Smith. Good evening, Sonia Fisher, out in Essex, Kirsten Alots, Andy Dixon. Good evening and welcome to the centre of the universe.
But I don't know what I'm gonna do with you. Yeah.
Okay, coming up, we're going to play one more R&B number, and then we're going to switch it. 1962, from Texas, Bertha Tillman.
How hard I try, but the more I do, the less I satisfy. I believe you got a girlfriend
Good evening, Robbie McKelvey. Nice tuning in again. Having you last night as well. Brumo Fire Dog, Dwayne Canuvas and Julie Foster. Good evening and welcome. Tim Richardson and Brendan Carr.
I've always got business way across town. I've got a feeling something funny's going down. I believe you got a girlfriend somewhere across town. I may be wrong, but I know something funny's going down. When you need an alibi, you use Sister Sue. She was where with me. Now where were you? I believe you got a girlfriend somewhere.
Yeah, Bertha Tillman now, 1962, on the Brent label.
But I know something funny's going down. I believe.
No, I thought, Sean, you look absolutely suave tonight, I must admit. And well done, Stuart, up there in the Midlands, doing all these little bits and pieces. Well, I've got to say, I'm going to do a little advertisement now. This is a Mod Clothing, sort of made-to-measure jacket at a very affordable price. You need to check out his little bits, and my pants come from Marks and Spencer's. Here we go, the Godfather of Soul, Georgie Fame, last night, US issue.
Oh, tell him what I said, Pete. Get it now. Early in the morning I can't get right and she said, where you go last night?
Well, good evening, Jono and Parry. Stephen and Lisa up in Hull, Donna and Quiffley, Russell Deal, Tim Richardson, we've already said him, over in Harford, Kevin Raymond and Carolyn Thompson, up in Leeds, Mike Eastwood. Good evening and welcome.
No, you staying out all night long.
Good evening, Jimmy McCann and Gail Motherwell, Mark Aldridge, Paul Whitehouse and Perry Garnham. Great version. That is not available on a British vinyl anywhere, only on the US. On US only. This goes especially out for Stan Evans up in Liverpool.
I'm your witch doctor, got the evil eye, got the power of the devil, I'm the conjured guy. Gonna teach you love at the midnight hour, gonna feel you burning like a passion flower. Your witch doctor, got my eyes on you. I'm born in the country and I lived in trees. I've got my voodoo from the birds and bees. Gonna teach you love at the midnight hour.
Yeah, John Mayall's Blues Breakers, Eric Clapton, and produced by Jimmy Page.
Your witch
evening, Brimo. Fire Dog.
Got the evil eye, got the power of the devil, I'm the country guy. Gonna teach you love at the midnight hour. Gonna feel you burning like a passion cloud. Your witch doctor, got my eyes on you. I got my mean old spell on you. I got my mean old spell on you.
Okay, wonderful there. John Mayall's Blues Breakers featuring Eric Clapton there, and of course produced by Jimmy Page. Well, we're going into our featured artist this week, and it's Brenda Holloway. I've got the kitchen adorned with bits and pieces from Brenda Holloway. Anyway, Brenda was born on June the 21st, 1946 in Atascadero in California, USA. She was the eldest of 3 children. Wade Jr. was her brother, and Patrice Holloway was her sister, who was born in 1951. As a young girl, Brenda learnt to play the flute, violin, piano, and singing as well in the church choir, as well as developing a love for classical music. At the age of 14, Brenda began working for Demonstration Records, doing backup vocals. In '63, she was invited to a party which Motown CEO Berry Gordy was attending. Brenda lip-synced to a Mary Wells song, You Beat Me to the Punch, and Gordy was so impressed with her looks that he subsequently recorded her, but after hearing her voice afterwards. He signed her to Motown at the age of 17. Brenda was the first West Coast artist to sign for Motown. Brenda decided not to move to Detroit but stay in California, and her music was produced by Hal Davis, Mark Gordon and Frank Wilson. She was an instant hit with all the male artists on Motown because of her beautiful looks. Brenda's first tune on Motown was Every Little Bit Hurts, which went on to peak at number 13 on the Billboard Hot 100. She also won her spots straight on the Motown Review. We're going to start with the first tune tonight by Brenda Holloway, When I'm Gone.
What are you gonna do when I'm gone? Whose shoulder are you gonna cry on? What are you gonna do on the day when I turn my head and just walk away now? What are you gonna say to your friends when the talk around town begins? Will you tell them how you treated me bad? Will you tell them how you made me so sad? 'Cause you make some people think that you love me a lot, but they just don't know you, and what they see isn't what we got. We're happy in the public's eye. They think you're such a wonderful guy, but they don't know how much you've lied, and they don't know how much I've cried. You're a real Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Go, great classic we all love and know. Well, in 1964, Brenda performed on the Dick Clark's TV show. Tunes followed I'll Always Love You, When I'm Gone, Operator, etc. In 1965, she was asked to open up for the Beatles at the Shea Stadium on August the 15th. And when asked to do this, Brenda replied, "Who are the Beatles?" In 1967, just look at what you've done, and also her co-written You've Made Me So Very Happy, which she co-wrote with her sister Patrice, and Berry Gordy earned writing credits just for changing a couple of chords. The next tune I've got coming up was actually never officially released on vinyl, especially not on 7-inch. We all know it, we've all heard it so many times, but it has never been officially released. Here we go. Good evening, James Slinger. What for Chris? Colin Johnson. Itus 25. Mr. Original Gravity. Neil Anderson. John Scally. Mivy Stevens. And Robert Kelly up in Glasgow. Great stuff last night in Glasgow. Mojo talking. Robert, loved it. Good evening, Michelle Collins. This tune goes specially out for you. I know you're a great fan. Well, there we go. Reconsider, or various other names, Think Before and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, Brenda left Motown and went on to record for Holland Dozier Holland's label, Invictus, in the 1970s. Brenda married and then moved out of the music scene for a short period. Brenda's music remained really popular on the Britain's Northern Soul scene, and she returned to the music scene. Brenda is still performing and recording today, sporting fantastic evening gowns, outfits, while singing all those fantastic tunes in her great soulful voice. Brenda is a joy to see at live and perform. Let's finish with a self-penned tune. I love this.
You say, try just once more. I chose you for the one. Now I'm having so much fun. You treated me so kind. I'm about to blow my mind. You made me so very happy. I'm so glad you came into my life. The others but when it came to you, I'd spend my whole life with you.
Good evening, Peter Lee. Lorraine B1234. DJ Fire. Fiona.
You're calling me. I'm so in love with you. All I ever want to do is just thank you, baby. Thank you, baby. You made me so very happy. I'm so glad you came into my life. You made me so very happy. I'm so glad you came into my life. Thank you, baby. You made me
Yeah, 1967. Our chosen fever artist tonight, Brenda Holloway. Well, coming up next, I've got the original version of a tune that I don't often play out. I play the second issue, which was released about a month later by the Crystals. This is the original version by the Toys. I Got a Man. Well, there we go, 1965, the Toys on a Japanese import. I think that is the only way you can get it on a 7-inch. Personally, I prefer the Crystals version, but it's good to hear these other versions. Coming up next, a monster. Yeah, Julie Crystal. This is on a Brazilian EP.
Oh, dangling thing.
I do like travelling the world for my records.
Streets are sick. The 8-day meal, it might grind slow, but it grinds fine. Indian rope man, while looking on, he tells Norman Clay he's heavenly born. Retired layman looks on in scorn with a transplanted heart. Kiss him quick, he has to part. Indian rope man sees the times, splitting loose the edge of minds, catching losers in his line, in his line. Yeah. Whoa.
Well, we always have to look on the bright side. The pandemic has done I've done my little bit of investment into Post-it pads and the Stella Brewery. Well, good evening, Mark Stackhouse, John Owen Parry, Tim 17, and Sonia and Sam.
Feeling alive. Indian road man holds my tree in his heart. Kiss him quick. Indian road man sees all strife cutting down eternal life. When his soul transcends his heart, oh, kiss him. Oh, he has the power, kiss him quick. Gonna kiss
Yeah, 1969, Brian Auger and the Trinity, Drewley Driscoll, don't we just love it? Well, I've got a nice little instrumental coming up for you now on a Decca label from 1966. This is Sound 66 and the Bounce and the Bouncer. Love that. It's got the real sound of the swinging 60s cut all together with a Hammond in there. Well, love it. Coming up next, classic. This is Jigsaw.
The arrow points one way, you know.
This is Jigsaw, One Way Street. It sounds like something from the revival period, but it was recorded and put out in the 60s. It's great. Anyway, my Swerve record is coming up now, and I've got to say, I love this woman. It's such a sad loss. This is Amy Winehouse.
Well, sometimes I go out by myself and I look across the water, and I think of all the things what you're doing, and in my head I paint a picture. 'Cause since I come home, well, my body's been a mess, and I miss your ginger hair and the way you like to dress. I want to come on over and stop making a fool out of me. Why don't you come on over, Valerie? Did you have to go to jail? Put your house on up for sale. Did you get a good lawyer? Hope you didn't catch it. Hope you found the right man who'll fix it for you. Are you shopping anywhere? Change the color.
You see, we got Basil back. He's returned. He's been holding the Tamla Motown placard for the last week. He decided to chuck it off tonight. He's busy dancing.
Since I come home, well, my body's been a mess, and I miss your ginger hair and the way you like to dress. Won't you come on over? Stop making a fool out of me. Why don't you come on over, Well, sometimes I go out by myself and I look across the border, and I think about all the things what you do, and in my head I paint a picture. 'Cause since I come home, well, my body's been a mess, and I miss your ginger hair and the way you like to dress. Won't you come on over? Stop making a fool out of me. Why don't you come over, Valerie?
Amy Winehouse. So sad. Of all the voices of the new generation, she had one of the best by far. Sadly missed. Everything she done touched the gold. If she was still around, well, I dread to think where she would be now. Anyway, over to Original Gravity.
Love is beautiful and love is great. Love is something you can never.
This is fantastic.
Inside the eye of your mind.
You thought Oasis was good.
A better place to play. You said that you'll never bleed, but all the things that you've seen slowly fade away. So I start a revolution from my bed. 'Cause you said the brain I had went to my head. Step outside, the summertime's in bloom. Stand up beside the fireplace. Take that look up off your face. 'Cause you ain't never gonna burn my heart
The great thing is there is a whole fleet of great music being released to this day by a whole range of different artists on different record labels.
When nobody knows it was not our day.
This came out last year on the original Gravity label, and I spoke to Neil tonight, and I think he's only got 25 copies left of this, and once they're gone, they're gone. And I know when things open up after this little period we've been in, everyone's going to want a copy of this. It's like an anthem, but done in such a cool way.
Stand up beside the fireplace, take that look above your face, 'cause you ain't never gonna burn my heart out. That was it, what? And so Sally can wait, she knows it's too late, as we're walking on by. Don't look back in anger, I heard you say.
Come on now, one more time everyone, let's party. It's 2 hours of Chills and Fever. Yeah, 25 copies left. They'll be all gone by the end of next week. Don't miss the boat. Talking of missing the boat, we've sold over half the tickets now for our Chills and Fever cruise with Rob Bailey, teaming up with the new Untouchables. Sean and myself are taking a boat down the River Thames. Well, we're not. Some captain is, but we'll be DJing on it. It's absolutely fantastic. 3 tiers on this boat. The 26th of September. Book your tickets. If you don't know where to get hold of the contact me or Carol, and we will guide you to it. £20 a ticket. Staying with the Scar thing for one more. I haven't got the echo chamber in, so I'll try and improvise. Scar. Hey Sean, I'm going to play me bubble wrap and me cardboard box instead. Dudley 15 and Yannick Granger. Vitas 25 and Carla. And good evening Tim Richardson and your little bunny rabbit. We do have such a lot of laughs with this show. We have had a lot of stress as well, Sean and I. But I've got to say, tonight I've loved it. Sean, your show was absolute magic tonight. Even though you sold out of Baby Shams. Yeah, Bubba Brooks there, off the Dr. Bird label. Just love it, love it, love it. Well, changing direction, as Sean would say. Tamiko Jones on vocals and Sidewinder. Desperately need a haircut during the interval there, so Carol obliged very quickly. She's the fastest hairdresser in the south, and she's given me that wonderful dreadlock. You just love it. Nipping over to, well, New York now. And a bit of the old Boogaloo. Latino. Come on, let's be having ya. Welcome to the centre of the universe.
Come on now. Oh yeah. We let go and Boogaloo. And now we wanna add that Latin too. Come on now. Don't you like this song and Latin groove? Come on, do it. Do the Boogaloo. Yeah. Like this song and Latin too. We do the song and Latin too. We do the Boogaloo. Yeah. So Latin Boogaloo. Yeah. Like the soul and Latin too. Oh yeah. We do the soul and Latin too. Every day we do the Boogaloo. Hey. So Latin Boogaloo. Come on. Yeah. Yeah. Let's get this thing together here. Yeah. Woo. Come on now. Get yourself together. Come on now. Hey. Now let's put it all together. Yeah. Let's go. Yeah. Woo! Come
I love it. Dudley 15 said he's not sure about my dreads. Michelle Collins says, her dad wants my hair. I think Sean needs my hair. Well, it's coming on. I'm already hot enough.
Every day we do the soul and Latin too. Oh yeah, we do the boogaloo. Hey, soul, Latin, boogaloo. We like soul and boogaloo. And now we wanna add
Well, there we go, 1967. Paul Serrano and the Latin Souls on the MET label. Oh, time goes so quick when you're enjoying yourself. What will the ender be tonight? Coming up next. I do hope you've all enjoyed the show tonight. Massive thanks to Sean Chapman and Michelle Jacobs up in the shed in Lynch Towers, Staffordshire. Absolutely fantastic that was. Big thanks to Carol. She'll be joining me in a minute. And of course, massive thanks to you guys for tuning in each week. Week 56. Neil Anderson's coming up on Mixcloud after me to do an hour of in Jamaica, I believe. Yes, an hour in Jamaica. Anyway, the last tune tonight, these were heroes in my lifetime. They should be heroes in yours.
Have a lady bed with the banging in your head that you just can't bear.
Come on, Carol.
You can't stop that ceiling going round up there. So you stumble to the sink cause you dive for a drink and bang your leg on a chair. You wanna make a cup of tea but the teapot can't be found. So you stumble back to bed with the banging in your head and you can't lay down. You wish they'd never have brought that homemade cider around. Oh, your eyes are hanging out and the pattern moves about on the eider down. Oh, the COVID's on the floor but the skirting pulls up in the air. And you say it's gonna stop.
Yeah, you say it's gonna stop.
But never touch and never drop.
Never touch and never drop.
And you think I don't think.
And you think I don't think.
I'll never have another drink.
I'll never have another drink.
Then you wake up in the morning and you wish you'd never gone in the pub last night. Alarm bells clanging and your head's still banging with rolling smile. Then your mate come and knock shut through the letterbox, you're coming out for a pint. So you stumble out of bed before you know it, you've done it again. In bed with the banging in your head that you just can't bear. You can't stop that ceiling going round up there. So you stumble to the sink cause you don't have a drink and bang your leg on a chair. You wanna make make a cup of tea, but the teapot can't be found.
This is Penny Hill. Well, I hope you've all enjoyed us. Show 56 completed, mission accomplished, I hope, and we will see you all next Saturday night back in the same place. Thanks a lot, good night, and have a great weekend. On behalf of Chills and Fever, stay cool.